Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live, calling a fight. Sam Alvey, awesome interview, great guy, very humble, just amazing. Thank you for doing that, Sam. Now we got Timothy Johnson versus Volkov. Both guys have been. This fight's been a really good fight. We missed the first round, but hey, neither here nor there. We're trying to work on another great big interview coming up here soon. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing the best we can with the situations that have been presented with us. We're still calling a fight. We know the buzz is there, but we're doing the interviews buzz free. Don't ask me how. It wouldn't make sense. Um, but Keith's working on getting a next big interview up here soon. So I'm gonna be calling this fight. Timothy Johnson, hell of a mustache. Great guy, hell of a mustache. And we appreciate everyone who's been watching this. It's been amazing. Very nice takedown by Timothy Johnson, trying to lay some nice shots in. Volkov is back up. These two guys, they're big for this weight class. Timothy Johnson ranked 14th in the UFC rankings, and Volkov is not, unfortunately. Timothy Johnson is. These guys both throw power. They throw bombs, and yeah, they do a lot of great things. And we may have a special guest coming in right now. Hey, it's there may be Hollywood may be coming in right now. Though he's a great actor. He's not quite in the room yet, but he's going to be coming down here very soon. We're going to get pizza very soon. We're going to get sodas. We're going to make this a great day. This card has actually been pretty amazing to call and just watch as a fan of MMA. Let's see right here. We got both guys in the center of the octagon just repositioning. And let's see. Ooh, very nice. These guys have been swinging. Uppercut missed by Timothy Johnson. Uh,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for continuing watching our 12 hours straight of MMA talk in partnership with the Jimmy Fund, which is an organization that supports the fight against cancer. We have a special guest, a guy that really needs no introduction, but I'm going to try my best to give an introduction. We got a guy that he was a NCAA national champion wrestler. He represented our country in the Olympics. He won not one but two UFC tournaments. He is a former UFC heavyweight champion. He is a former Pride openweight champion. He's a UFC Hall of Famer. If you can figure all that out, then you know it is the legend himself, one of the greatest fighters of all time, Mark the Hammer Coleman. Mark, how are you?
I'm okay. Thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent. Hey, Mark. So we're doing this thing for charity. We're going 12 straight hours. Where the first question we keep asking everybody is how'd you get into MMA?
It was basically pretty simple. I was a wrestler, and I seen UFC 1, and I immediately knew that's what I wanted to do. I mean, it was, I watched it, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I hoped it was real, and once I found out it was real, I knew I had to find a way to get in there.
Now, did you know right away that how much your wrestling would have an impact? I mean, you had other wrestlers, guys like Dan Severn and Don Fry and guys like that, guys that you've fought both those guys. Did you know right away that wrestling was going to instantly become like the top art in those early days of MMA?
Well, yes, I did. And I was kind of naive, or whatever you want to call it. But wrestlers, we have a lot of pride, and we always felt like we were the toughest guys in the world. Amateur wrestling is the greatest sport in the world, and now I have to include MMA in that as the tied for greatest sport in the world. And but I knew wrestlers, we deserved our due, and when I saw it, I knew I really felt like I was going to dominate, but I felt like other wrestlers would come in and dominate. And it's had its ways of jiu-jitsu, stand-up, and then wrestling kind of took over. And wrestlers are great athletes, and now everybody has learned how to wrestle, and it's very hard to take people down. And so now it's become a stand-up game. But if you can't wrestle, you can't fight.
That's right. You definitely certainly did dominate, especially in the early days. Mark, you've been out of the sport, retired for a couple of years now. One thing I just want to ask is what do you miss most about competing in MMA?
Oh, I miss it more than you could ever imagine, and I'm sure everybody does when it comes to an end. I've been a competitor since I was 5 years old. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a world champion, or in any sport. I played football and baseball and wrestling. I wanted to be a NFL superstar, or at least an Olympic world champion. And then, I just miss competing, and I would still be competing since, I paid the price, because I had 25 years of wrestling, 15 more years of fighting, and the body doesn't hold up. And the people out there with their health, well, be thankful, because it is critical, and it is I don't want to complain, but damn, it got me pretty good. I planned on, when I was done with all this competition, I planned on walking a little crooked, but not as crooked as I am now. So, but that's the way it goes,
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, it's a price to pay to be in such a competitive, hard sport. And as a lot of times us fans we got to remember that you guys are humans, that you have a family to go to. You have a life after MMA. MMA is only a short portion of your life, and we appreciate all the things you've done for the sport. I was going to ask this later on. I'm going to transition right to this question because you kind of hit on it. This week I was watching an interview with Big Daddy Gary Goodridge on Inside MMA. I'm not Inside MMA. I forgot which show it was, but he was talking about CTE and the complications from concussions. Obviously, that's something that other sports have taken as the years have gone, they've taken a lot more serious, football and basketball and stuff. As have you had any effect of that? And if you have, what advice would you give younger fighters today?
Have I had any effect on the concussions?
Yes.
Well, I'm not too sure about the concussions. I'm pretty sure, my goal when I went out there and fought was not to get hit. That's why.
It's a good strategy.
My game plan and strategy from day one was that's what I did best, was take people down and ground and pound them. And I really didn't get hit as much. I really didn't get hit that much, but I played football quite a bit, and I did get hit you do get hit in wrestling, and you do get hit in MMA. I think my head's probably one of the only thing that is not that damaged, but the rest of my body is pretty beat up. Pretty beat up right now. It's pain every day, but not complaining. It was incredible, great run, and just wrestling was great. But then I got into the MMA, the UFC, Pride, and just got treated like not like something I was not used to in wrestling. Wrestling was great, but we stuffed 4 guys into a room to compete in a tournament, and that's the way it was. But when you got into MMA, things were a lot better. Not a lot better. You got your own room, and you was able to, do what you're prepared for and get treated, so much better. I mean, UFC treated me great, Pride treated me great, and I have no complaints. And yes, I'm pretty banged up, but I have no complaints. It was an incredible run, and I miss it. I definitely miss it like nothing. I wish if I didn't have the hip replacements and this and that, I would still be out there fighting today somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere.
So Mark, you talked about fighting. You fought all over the world. You fought in my opinion, the 2 biggest organizations in history, the UFC and Pride. You were very successful in both organizations. And one thing you were talking about was how they treated you. Can you just tell us, was there a big difference between Pride and UFC? And I don't mean as in a sense of the ability of the fighters, more of just way, the culture of Japan compared to how they treat fighters compared to how the UFC treats fighters.
Well, I'm having a tough time hearing you, but I think you said, is there a difference between UFC and Pride?
Yeah.
Well,
basically, my question is not necessarily the level of fighters, because obviously both of them have huge, successful fighters. They're both the best in the world. Mostly, my question is how they treated you. Did they treat you any different in Pride than the UFC?
Well, not necessarily, but Pride, at the time they were on a big run. They had a lot of money, a lot of sponsors, a lot of backing, and it was pretty amazing to me. Just to be treated, you fly first class, you get treated first class, and you got paid pretty well, and that was great. But at the same time, when I left the UFC, they cut me, and I knew I wasn't finished. I just had to get back to the drawing board and figure out what I had to do to come back and be the champion. And I'm very proud that I pulled it together and I got to Japan. And I don't think they planned on me being able to pull it together, but I did. And once I did, it was great. Pride, Mr. Saki Kabara, treated me well, treated me great, treated Kevin great. Kevin Randleman, my best friend, he's no longer with us.
Yeah, another legend of the sport.
Another legend. He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Of course.
And we had fun. We worked hard, and we went out there every time and did our best. And people don't like to hear about injuries, this and that, but it's part of the sport. And unfortunately I got started. I was already 31 when I got started in the sport, so I had to plug away, and luckily my body held up for long enough. I made it 15 years in MMA, 25 years in wrestling, 15 years in MMA, and it was just an incredible ride. And there's no there's no way you're not going to miss it. It was, you know, it. That's what I did. I wanted to compete my whole life, and that's what I did, and it was great. But sometimes it comes to an end, and it did, and you got to move on with your life somehow. It's not easy because that's what I did, and I no longer can do that. It's unfortunate because if I could, I still would be doing it.
So I just want to recap for some of the newer audience that might not know what you speak about. You and Kevin Randleman was one of the first teams in MMA. You guys formed the Hammer House, which was a very successful team. And another thing you were talking about when you left the UFC and went over to Pride, one of the biggest accomplishments I think in MMA history was you winning the Pride Openweight tournament. You said yourself that not many people expect you did it. It was one of the most prestigious tournaments in history of MMA, and you were the victor in that. One thing I want to say, you've accomplished so much in the sport. Like I said in my introduction, is there something you're most proud of, or something you think is your biggest accomplishment?
Well, the Lord blessed me, and they're all so close. Winning UFC 10 was amazing. Winning UFC 11 was great, except I wish I would have had a point in the finals. And then beating Dan Severn for the first ever UFC championship, I'm very proud of that. But then, well, maybe it went to my head a little bit, and I slacked off, and I got my first ass whooping by Maurice Smith, probably because I didn't train. I just thought I could go in there and beat him without training, which is unbelievable in hindsight, but that's what I did. But it was humbling, and I knew I just had to get back to the drawing board and do what I did my whole life. Work hard, and I knew I was going to come back. I was counted out by everybody. I went from the toughest man in the world to a guy that was counted out, but I didn't count myself out. I knew what I had to do, and I did it, and I was not shocked. I planned on winning the Pride Grand Prix because I knew I prepared properly. I went in there, and things worked out, and I won that, and I could have did a lot better. I had a pretty good career, but you always wish you could do it over. I would have did a lot of things differently, but I did pretty good on my own.
Yeah, I think pretty good might be a understatement. I think you heard my introduction. You had a career that's extremely successful. So now you just talked about when you fought against Maurice Smith, which I actually think is one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. I remember watching it live in my friend's basement.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You cut out on me, but I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just kind of recapping for any of our newer fans to know what. Just speaking about your fight against Maurice Smith. One thing that I wanted to ask you about is you fought, like you said, I just said Maurice Smith. You fought Dan Severn, Don Fry, Randall Couture, Fedor Emelianenko. You fought all the biggest stars in history. I mean, you are one of the
Maurice Shukanhua, Krokop,
yeah,
Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah, I could go on and on and on and on. You fought everybody.
I didn't get too many easy ones.
No.
Which there is no easy ones, but there are tougher ones, and I took them all on. And nobody wants to hear about injuries or any excuses. I did my best, and I wish I could do it over. And I didn't have a whole lot of coaching. I coached myself in wrestling, pretty much. I was called uncoachable in wrestling by USA Wrestling and all the coaches and this and that because I was kind of bullheaded, hot-headed, and I liked doing things my way. But in hindsight, I put together some pretty good camps at the very end of my career, and I didn't like leaving my family. Didn't like leaving my kids. But towards the end, very end of my career, I was getting very old. But I did leave, and I went out to Vegas. I put together some pretty good training camps, and my you asked one of my favorite things is I put together a hell of a camp, and the win over Stephan Bonner, that really sits
UFC 100
very well with me because he was no easy opponent, and I was able to beat him at 44 years of age, and I'm pretty proud of that. Pretty proud to come back and do that, and at the time, my body was already pretty banged up. But I just worked through it. And after the Randy Couture fight, which I consider one of my worst fights ever, I was pretty ready to fight, but I kind of was overwhelmed. Even though I had been in that cage plenty of times, it was overwhelming to me, and I kind of just froze up and choked. But I definitely didn't think that would be the end of my career, except I went in and got an MRI on my hip, and they said I didn't have a hip. It was pretty much gone, and pretty much the end of my career, which was devastating because you got to figure out what you're going to do next because that's all I really knew is competing. And now you move on with the real life and the real world, and I'm still trying to adjust to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. You're saying that you competed at UFC 10 and then you were winning fights at UFC 100. I mean, that's pretty remarkable right there. One question I wanted to ask you is like I said, you fought all these top guys. Is there anybody that you wish that you could have got a fight with that you didn't?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I fought, I think I fought at least 10 world champions in my career. So, pretty proud of that. I never had any easy fights, maybe way back in the beginning, but they weren't easy. That's just the competition that was there at the time. But as the sport grew, everybody got tougher. And I just wish I would have put together some better training camps with some better coaches and did it that way. And I got that towards the end of my career, but it was maybe a little too late. I beat Bonner, and then Couture. I must admit I was a deer in headlights that night.
Yeah.
And I planned on after it was over, I went to my room and I just started thinking back to the chalkboard and figure out, work a lot harder, and get back in there. But wasn't meant to be, and not complaining. That was the Lord's plan, and that was it. Otherwise, I'd be on the old man circuit like a lot of these guys are, and I think I'd be out there beating a lot of these old man circuit guys.
Yeah. Now, one thing, obviously, all us MMA fans, we love the backstage stories. Do you have any like crazy backstage story you'd like to share with us?
I got a lot of backstage stories and stories to tell, but I'm not going to share any right now. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's okay. You're the champ. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna let you get out of here. I just want to know, hey, what are you doing nowadays?
Pardon me?
So we're gonna let you get out of here. We just want to know what are you doing nowadays?
Well, I'm trying to figure out life after fighting and figure it out. But like I said, I don't want to dwell on these injuries, but I've had some pretty severe ones.
Yeah.
3 hip replacements. I need another one on the other side. I probably need back surgery. So that kind of consumes me because appreciate your health, all these young guys. Appreciate why you got it. Don't take nothing for granted. Don't think just because you won 100,000 or 150,000 or whatever these guys are getting paid now. Don't take it for granted, because it could end tomorrow. It could end tomorrow for a lot of guys. And take it seriously, and spend your money very wisely. Invest and do it right. And do it right so you have a future. And I'm lucky enough to I have a great girlfriend, and she has 3 kids. I have one daughter with her, is 2 years old now. I have my 2 oldest daughters that a lot of people seen in the
Fedor
when
fight.
I fought Fedor.
Yeah.
They brought them to the ring. They're now 17 and 19, and
Wow.
that's life.
Yeah, it goes by fast.
You got to deal with life, and you got to move on. And I wish I could. People going. I wish I could be doing seminars, but I can't. My body won't allow me to do seminars because I don't want my hip to pop out the side pocket.
Yeah.
That's not a pretty sight. But I do appearances, and I'm open to any appearances. I think I do very well with the fans. I love the fans. They've treated me so well, and I hope I've treated them the same in return. And you got to move on. You have to move on.
Yeah, one thing you said, Mark, is that to take care of your health. Like I said earlier, we're doing this 12 straight hours of MMA Marathon. We're doing it with a partnership with the Jimmy Fund, which is an organization that supports the fight against cancer. Just get a little personal. I know we've all been affected by cancer in some way. Can you just share somehow that how you've been affected by cancer, or someone that you love?
Yeah, I've been affected by cancer by a lot of people I love, and cancer's out there, and they're still battling. I think there's a cure out there. I'm sure there is, and I hope they bring it to the forefront and start letting these cures that people have already created. I hope they start letting them in the game. I'm not too sure if they're keeping them away. I'm not too sure about that, but it's a great thing that you guys are doing today.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to be a part of it as best I could here with just a little bit of talk here, but that's great. You got to keep fighting, and cancer's a fight. Cancer's a big fight, but I think there's cures out there that need to be, the attention needs to be brought to them instead of maybe being hidden. And take that for any way you want that, but I think there's ways to cure this horrible cancer disease. It gets many, it gets a lot of people, but I think the doctors and all this and that have ways to treat this, and people have to fight, just like being in the cage, being in the ring. People got to fight, stay strong, and beat the battle.
Mark, before we let you go, I just going to ask one favor. It's obviously going to be very selfish. We do a thing on YouTube every week. It's a live cast called The Clinch. Can you just say, this is Mark the Hammer Coleman, and you're listening to The Clinch?
This is Mark the Hammer Coleman. You're listening to The Clinch. Let me say it over. This is Mark the Hammer Coleman. You're listening to Clinch Radio. And tune in.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Mark the Hammer Coleman. Mark, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Take care.
All right, thank you. Good luck. Keep pushing on.
Thanks.
You're doing a good thing here. You're doing a good thing.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you.
Dude, he went for a long time. He went 25 minutes.
Holy cow, man, you're a natural.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, man.
I gave you your moment.
He rambles, though. He was going.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop this one. I'm gonna stop this and start a new one.
Man, I think you found your career calling, dude.
I know. Hey, we're back here. Keith just had a I know. Well, I mean, we're back.
The fight before this was real good, man.
Because we'll get a quick interview with Larry with no buzz.
Tim Johnson or the
The other guy won.
The younger guy?
Yeah, Volkov won.
That was a great fight, man.
I know. I mean, Keith just interviewed a UFC Hall of Famer. Now it's my turn. Hollywood actor, needs no introduction, but our first celebrity. And just remember, you were on the show before anybody else was. That's.
I forgot to say to Coleman. I forgot to say to him. To the MMA Takeover family.
Now you ruined it. We're here with Larry DaCosta. Larry, thank you for being on again.
Oh, hey. It's,
Hold on, Keith's going to ask you a very important question before we get to the introductions.
He's gonna be going probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still like to know what kind of pizza he wants. What kind of pizza you want, Larry?
Oh, pizza's good pizza.
Oh,
No. I like pepperoni, you know, but anything except anchovies.
What about mushrooms? You like
I
mushrooms?
like mushrooms.
Okay. Now, me and Keith have been doing this since 12:30. We've been talking to fighters. We've been calling the fights. We've had you on before for a short little interview. How you been? How's life? How's Larry life been?
That's been good. One day at a time.
Just one day at a time?
One day at a time, you know, taking it easy, you know, just hey, like I said, one day at a time, just.
Are there any movie projects you've been working on? Because now people don't know, if you're watching at home, this gentleman, I want you to ramble off some of the movies that you've been in.
Okay. I was in The Fighter. I was in Grown Ups, the first Grown Ups. I was in American Hustle. Let me see. I was in the movie Ted, the first Ted movie.
I mean, these are Hollywood blockbusters. These movies. These are big movies.
Yeah, I was in a few. I was in quite a bit of like smaller, lower budget.
Independent films.
Independent films, but with some decent named actors, like, you know, not the A-listers, but it was still some established actors. Do some scenes with them, speaking roles. You know, it was a lot of fun. You know, it's. No, and then, you know, it was a lot of fun doing the big Hollywood stuff. It was a learning experience. You get to be on set to see how a movie is made, and you get to see the process of how the director interacts with his assistants and the actors interact and how a scene is run. It's very should I say it's very it's like, oh, you get to, you know, you get, oh, this is how a movie is made.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes of how a movie's actually made, but you firsthand have been there, and a lot of these movies make millions and millions of dollars. Ted, The Grown Ups. I mean, you've been in there with some of the biggest Hollywood actors. You've been in there with Kevin James. You've been in there with Adam Sandler, Christian Bale. I mean, you've worked with all these guys.
Yep.
I mean, that's an amazing feat. A lot of people can't say that, but you, Larry DaCosta, can say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got to see them up close and personal. You know, you know, how they work, how they prepare. You know, very, you know, a lot of times when you you really have to, like, when these guys are on set, you know, they really have to, you know, because they have lines and you know, and they have, you know, and so it's really, you know, they focus. See how you see them very focused and very businesslike, and you know, when you're on set, it's not like you're hanging out at a party. That's for sure. You know, you can't just walk up to them. It's like, hey, oh man, what's going on? You know, let's, you know, they go there. You know, they're to work, and they're very focused on what they have to do. Their job description, and it's really cool. I mean, there's a lot of downtime in acting, you know, because, you know, in scenes, you know, you just don't just do a scene, film it once. On average, every scene in every Hollywood movie that I've experienced, that I've seen, that I've been in, it's about 15 to 20 takes.
That's crazy.
On average.
Yeah.
I mean, some directors vary. I mean, some directors just do take after take after take, and then there are some directors that do less takes, but still, I've never been in a scene where there was less than 12 takes.
Now, who would you, if an agent called you today and said, I want to put you in a movie with this person, who would that one person, who would you like to work with most of all?
Ooh,
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, there's a name definitely. De Niro. I mean, it's almost become cliche to say we're because as actors, I any De Niro is a name that I've heard of a lot of actors say I'd love to work with him. De Niro, but there's so many actors that like are not as big a names. Like I'd love to work. There's an actor named John Turturro, who I absolutely love,
Yep.
and I would love to work with that guy.
I've met him before.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was in Barton Fink.
yes.
Yep, he was in
Yes.
that. He was in Big Lebowski. Yeah, I met him in New York City a couple of years ago.
Oh, man.
Very nice guy.
Yes, I heard that. I heard he's a very nice guy and a great actor.
Yep.
And he's not like your household name, like your average person might know who that is. But for people that are movie fans, like I'm a huge movie fan,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of movies. John Turturro. There's so many names. Oh man, Clint Eastwood. Oh my goodness.
Would that make your life if you got to work with Clint Eastwood?
If I worked with Clint Eastwood and then I died, I'd say my life is complete.
That's what I like to hear.
I mean, Eastwood. I mean, there's so many. I don't even know what to start. You know, it's just.
I mean, you've worked with a lot of great actors. Is there anything you have upcoming? Is there any project that
Yeah.
that you've got in the works? Any acting gigs?
Right now, I took a little break from acting, but I am gonna this coming year. I'm gonna start getting back into the swing of it with getting back into some projects. Right now, it just took a little hiatus.
Yeah, you don't want to get burned out. You know, if you keep doing it over and over again, do it every once in a while, then come back. So it seems like you're gonna come back bigger and stronger. We're gonna see a lot more.
Yes. I'd like to come back and really, and then really just focus and try to come back bigger and stronger, as you said. There's a lot of there's a lot of challenges out there when it comes to acting, and there's a lot that I just want to really just roll up the sleeves and really get serious and get back into it. And
Well, I hope it works out for you, because I would love to see you in another Adam Sandler movie, or maybe a suspense thriller or something. Like, what genre of movies do you prefer to be in more? Comedies, horror, suspense, just romantic movies? What style of movie fits your personality best?
People that have known me have said that I'd work better in comedy, which is great. Eh?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, obviously, I love to do everything that I could. Obviously, as far as romantic, unless obviously I don't think I'd be the leading guy in there. But
I think you would. I think you would be the leading guy.
Well, thank you for the compliment. But as far as drama, comedy, anything horror. I'm a movie fan,
Yeah.
so I like a lot of genres. Anything that there's a role there that
needs a Larry. If anyone's
Yeah.
out there wanting to contact Larry, please get in contact with us, and we'll get you in contact with this great gentleman next to me. Great actor. He's been in a lot of things. Now, we're doing this all for a great cause. A lot of us have been affected by cancer, and we need to defeat cancer. Has cancer affected anybody that you know, or your loved ones, or do you have any story about cancer and how it's affected people you care about?
Oh, most definitely. I had an uncle who passed away in California a few years back. He had it was leukemia. I had my nephew's stepmom died. She died a couple of years back. I don't even know what to start. There's so many people in my family, because I have a big family, a couple of cousins. So I definitely have seen firsthand the effects of that horrible disease.
And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to raise money to, fight cancer and hopefully one day eliminate cancer. And Larry, it's every day I get to see you. It's a pleasure. I would like to work with you in the future as well.
Oh, I'd love to, man.
Hold on, Keith's gonna jump in with a question. What is it? You want to hold for the pizza? Tell him what? Yeah, he's Larry's. I use your sound bites on the show. Did you know that?
Oh man, jeez,
You're even when you're not on the show personally.
Thank you.
I drop sound bites of you, but we always ask you
Oh, thank you.
questions. You know, I'm trying to help you out, Larry. I want to see you get to be famous. I want to see you become a big star.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. I really, I love MMA, and I love what you guys are doing here, especially when it's to help fight cancer. And what you guys are doing, I think it's great, and just how you promote helping to bring the sport out, and it's a great sport. Lots to talk about, and
Yep.
I think it's great what you guys are doing. It's awesome, absolutely fantastic, and I hope that your future, near and distant, is absolutely awesome. For you guys with this involvement that you're doing with MMA and helping to promote it, and I think you guys do a great job here. And
You do a great job, Larry.
man.
Everything you do is gold.
Hey, you guys are. It's great what you're doing here. I feel honored, man, that you guys brought me here and invited me. And if there's anything in the future, anything to help promote the show and the sport. It's a great sport, and I just hope MMA continues to grow as it's been growing over the last few years, and I just hope that this what you guys are doing here just grows and that it takes you to places you guys didn't even imagine it would take.
I appreciate every nice word you said, Larry.
It's really, man. I'm speaking from the heart. What I see here is very impressive, and I just wish you guys the best of luck and oh man, it's been I've checked quite a bit. I've checked since
Have you submitted to the takeover? That's the first question. Are you all in?
yeah.
That's
man.
the first question.
Yeah, you gotta get, you get people out there, you gotta know, definitely check out the clinch and what's going on here, because these guys here are doing a great job to help promote the sport, and like I said, I just hope that this is just the tip of the iceberg for you guys, and great and awesome things are coming your way.
Those words are so well spoken, Larry, and it's an honor to have you here. And what time?
To be here.
You got to leave? You got to head out?
A little bit.
Little bit?
I can stay a little bit longer, but it's a little while.
Larry, who's your favorite fighter? Hold on. Yeah, that should work. Hold on, Larry. I'm gonna unplug it. We'll get some.
Yeah. Larry.
Hold on. You got to plug. Is it plugged in?
Is it not plugged in?
No. Hold on. I'll get it. We'll get Larry.
No, Larry, can you hear me? Am I good? All right, Larry. So I don't know.
Should be on.
Check. So, Larry, you've been a fan of MMA for a long time, going way back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember you were back when there was like the tournament style, right?
Yeah, when I first saw MMA years ago, I think it was in the 90s, when I first saw it advertised, maybe early 90s, man, I was like, man, this is brutal, man. I see these guys in cages.
No, is there a particular fighter that you like to follow?
Right now?
Or no, even back then?
Oh.
Anybody got you? Who?
Well, it's funny. I loved the pioneers of it that really brought it out, like Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Those guys were like, I love Chuck Liddell, man. That guy was just, and Couture, man. Those guys were warriors, and and then there was a guy, Tim Sylvia. I actually got to work with Tim Sylvia on a movie set, in a movie called Oxymorons. Great guy. Great guy.
Big, huge.
I actually got to work with a few.
6'8", I think he was.
He was huge. I actually went up to him when I first met him. I said, "Wow, you're as big as advertised, man."
I thought you went up to him and you looked at him and said, "I could take you."
Yeah.
Did you challenge him?
Oh man.
So Larry, you did a movie called Legless. Did you already speak about that?
No, he hasn't Spider-Man. Larry, tell us about
That was probably a
Legacy.
big movie. Can you give us a little without seeing it all? Give us a little theme. What was it? What was it like?
Well, the movie,
That was probably your biggest role yet.
yeah, the movie was about it was a low budget, locally made movie, and it was about four guys who get together and have who decide to get inebriated, drink and drink and drink, and I'm the next door neighbor that shows up because their car's parked in my driveway, and so I have to tell them to move the car, and so they said, well, come in and drink with us, and I basically go in and I drink, and they get me drunk, and I pass out, and they think I'm dead, and then they're trying to get rid of my body.
It sounds like a great movie. Where can we find this movie?
You can find it online.
You can find it
on
online.
Amazon and
Yeah, I could probably get it online. I don't know. It'd be pretty hard to find
but
it in.
yeah, kind of downselling. I have seen the movie. It's a good movie. You're kind of downselling your role. You were in it for the whole movie. You were a big star. You had many lines.
Yeah.
You kind of. I don't want to give away the ending, but you were very big in the ending.
Yeah, it was a pretty big role. Half the time in the movie I was dead. I was playing dead, which they thought I was dead, but I was just passed out.
For those who haven't seen it, it's a little bit like the Hangover. They keep getting in funny situations.
Yeah.
But also like Weekend at Bernie's, where they carry around a dead body. A little bit of a mixture.
Yeah.
But a little older age instead of the guys in their 30s. They're more in their 40s.
Yeah. And I play Bernie. I would be the Bernie part. I'd be the guy that they're carrying around dead, and it was challenging in a couple of a lot of scenes because you got to play dead. And
I would say you play like the Hangover, the guy who gets stuck on the roof. You're like the guy who gets stuck on the roof.
yeah.
But you also get a lot more. You have a lot more parts than the guy who was stuck on the roof. And you're actually a very major character. Now, there was another movie you did with. Tell us. This is you only had a minor role, but tell us if you don't mind sharing. Tell us the part about you and who was it? Robert Redford.
Oh, Richard Gere.
Richard Gere. I'm sorry, Richard Gere.
Oh,
not Robert Redford.
That
Richard
was
Gere.
actually the first time I worked on a movie set ever. This was 2008, and it was a movie called Hachiko, which is out on video. You could get it at any store. But anyways, my scene was just all the scene called for was for me to drive my car, which is this orange Honda Accord. I was an extra, background guy, and basically the scene was for me to drive across the street a few feet, and the camera was on the other side of the street filming. But in the scene, as I drive across, Richard Gere has to cross the street. So before the scene starts, obviously I have to get directions from the director, which was an assistant. The director's assistant comes to me, okay, here's the scene. We're going to give you a radio, and when you hear action, you take off with your car, but take off slowly because Richard Gere is going to be crossing the street, so don't hit him. So I'm like, so what do I? Of course, what happens? We did a few. I think it was the first or second take. I take off, but I didn't take. I guess you're supposed to take off at a certain speed, and I took off too slow. And Richard Gere, I guess, was supposed to cross, and then I pass him. This is and somehow we didn't coordinate it properly, and I ended up. As he's crossing, I take off, and we're meeting, and I'm about to really ram him and hit him over, and I had to slam on my brakes just not to hit him, and so here I am.
So you almost ran over Richard Gere.
Yeah, pretty much. I pretty much would have hurt. He would have been a hurting dude. Because
so my follow-up question is, what beef do you have with Richard Gere? Is it Pretty
man,
Woman? Did you not like Pretty Woman?
It must have been
did
that.
Did you spend too much money on?
It must have been all those chick flicks he did. I was probably mad at him. Like, it could have been my role.
I think what happened is he was doing a movie about him and a dog at the end of his career. You just wanted to put him out of his misery.
Like,
is that what it was?
Exactly.
You were like, Richard, you made enough.
Gentleman to this man. Come on, Richard.
You made enough money. Let's end it. So what's your favorite Richard Gere movie?
My favorite Richard Gere movie. Jeez. Favorite Richard Gere movie.
I like that movie with Ed Norton. What's the name of Ed Norton?
Oh, Primal Fear.
Primal Fear.
That's a great movie.
That's one of my favorites.
That's a great movie.
A great trick ending.
Actually, that would probably be that one.
I think
He plays the lawyer.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very, very good movie.
Ed Norton is a great. That's an actor I'd love to work with.
Yeah.
Norton?
Yeah. Oh,
Now
absolutely.
you've worked with Christian Bale. What do you think of him?
Yes. Very intense guy.
Very intense guy.
Very intense guy. As a matter of fact,
Would you want to run him over with your car?
no, because he would get up and chase
Well,
me
I mean,
down.
he's Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. No, but actually, there's a story in American Hustle, the movie I worked with him.
yeah, that's what I was baiting you into.
Yeah, we were on set and basically I play. I play a mafia guy, and I'm sitting at this table, and the scene and so one of the scenes, it was very hot on set, so I had a tuxedo on, and so I actually ended up falling asleep between scenes, because there's so many takes they do, and Christian Bale saw me. He comes over like after the scene rolls, and he comes over, and he gives me this death stare, looks down at me because I'm sitting at a table, and he has a drink in his hand, and he puts it down, and he's staring at me like. I'm like, oh, dude, this dude's gonna go off on me. And he just looks at me for a minute, and then just walks away, and then doesn't say nothing to me. I'm like, whoa, that was creepy, intense, creepy.
Well, Christian Bale was famous for flipping out on somebody.
Well, I was thinking of that because I
And
knew he
you-
had that history, and I'm like, oh, dude, he's gonna flip out on me. He's probably gonna like, what are you doing, falling asleep on set or something? Like, I could see him like asking me that. Or,
Another guy I want to ask you about is like it's a big fan of MMA. He is Kevin James. What do you've done 2 movies with Kevin James. Listen, Larry's just full disclosure. Larry's a good friend of mine. I've heard these stories, so I'm trying to pull out the best stories from him. How do you feel about what TV show did he do?
King of Queens.
King of Queens. What do you think of the King of Queens?
I thought it was a funny show. And,
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the King of Queens?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. He was a weird dude, man. I don't know. Maybe he's a real cool guy. Maybe just off set and laid back, but on set he was very reserved, man, and just like.
He was not. He didn't really talk to people.
No,
Like,
man. No, it was just
not
like,
rude. Not rude, right? But just kind of Hollywood in it a little bit.
Yeah, like you like like yeah, exactly. Like, hey, man, I mean, I was. He played my teacher in a scene, I'm. And so I'm thinking he's gonna come in and interact with us because there was like 12 of us in the classroom. We all play immigration students going for American citizenship.
This is
So
in Here Comes the Boom.
Yeah.
You're in the movie. You see me.
Which I worked with Bass Rudin, who's a terrific dude.
An MMA fighter, former heavyweight
Yes.
champion of the world. Bass, if you're listening, come on.
Come on.
Yes, Bass, man. I love that. If Bass Rudin comes on, have me on the show because I'm like, hey, Bass, you remember me? I'm the big fat dude that sat next to
Bass and Larry can Bass and Larry can reminisce about the old times.
That would be
He
a great
was a
TV show.
terrific
Bass
dude,
and
man.
Larry.
So you talk. So
Yeah.
you're not a big fan of Kevin James. You're not a big fan of Christian Slater.
Well,
Not Christian Bale. Sorry, not Christian Slater. I'm sure Chris Slater is a fine human being. Christian Slater is very. He's against cancer. Just so you know, Christian Slater is definitely against cancer. Christian Slater from famous from
I
Robin Hood. Was he? I don't know.
Oh, he was in Heather's.
I don't know what he was. He was in Robin Hood, right?
Was he?
Yeah, remember? Yeah, he's Robin Hood's brother. Remember?
Oh, he was in Turn Up the Volume.
No, I don't know that
I
one.
don't, you guys don't remember this movie? It was a
So
classic.
you've said the people that you don't know, like which stars have you worked with that you do like?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
He was great.
I'm glad to hear that. Adam
Adam
Sandler.
Sandler
good
was
guy.
such a nice guy.
Adam Sandler. Anybody else?
One of the nicest guys I ever worked with, was I don't know if you guys were Sopranos fans.
Yeah.
Well,
of
do you
course.
remember? Do you remember? Did you guys watch it? Were you guys like Die Hards?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Do you remember the Sopranos guy who died in the toilet, heart attack?
John
John Fiore.
Fiore. No, I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Well, he was a
I
soprano.
was. I guess I'm not a hardcore.
No, I guess
Well,
not.
he was soprano in season 3. I got to work with him in a movie called The Mulberry Tree. I played a guy named Joey.
Yeah.
We were poker players in a scene, and that guy was such a nice guy, man. He was like, and I used to see this guy in movies, and some people you see him in movies like this guy's probably a jerk in real life.
Yeah.
I get on set, here's John Fiore from The Sopranos. Oh my goodness, and this guy's like the nicest, kindest, lowest, most down to earth dude. he's trying to get to know me. You know,
Yeah.
like
I gotta look up John Fury. John Fury, if he's listening, we would love to have John Fury. And
dude, John Fury comes over.
The John and Larry Show.
Hey man,
Right.
dude, he is such a cool guy.
So before we wrap up with Larry, we're in the main event.
I know. It's time
main
flies
event, we
talking
have-
to superstars.
Listen, and for some reason the Fight Pass just is frozen. This is a disaster right now.
This is a disaster.
We've
The
been
one thing
going-
we're supposed to be doing is calling a fight. Yeah, we're talking to celebrities here. all
Okay,
day.
we're
Yeah,
back. We're back. It's working again. All right. We have in the main event. We get Gegard Mousasi versus Uriah Hall. This is their rematch. Uriah Hall won the first one with a spinning back and follow up with punches. He's actually the underdog in this fight. He's coming off 2 losses in a row. He's going against Gegard Mousasi. If anybody knows Mousasi, he's been a part of MMA forever. He did not fight Mark Coleman though. He's one of the few people who haven't. So, Larry, do you have a prediction for this fight? Who do you like? Hall or Mousasi?
I don't know. I'm liking Mousasi.
You gotta take Mousasi. Musashi has one thing I've always noticed about Mousasi. He's extremely calm in the ring. He's not one of these jump around. It's like he's got that Karolina Kovacevic.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll get the wing.
We'll wig for the crowd. And Dave, what was your official prediction?
I picked Musasi for this one.
Okay, and
I think we all picked Musasi.
and I had Mousasi too by second round submission. Actually, no, I think I think it was third round submission.
I think I had him TKO
I
in
have
round
third
one.
round submission for Gay. Gay is very technical. The one thing I'm a little worried about is he's talking a lot about Michael Bisping. He's been talking about Yoel Romero. I hope he's not distracted. If I was, what is going on with the
This thing is freezing. It's watch. They're gonna be a knockout, and then it's gonna
it
freeze.
froze for like a zillisecond.
A zillisecond? What the hell's a zillisecond?
Yeah, it's just a zillisecond. It's like 1 zilla of a second. Gegard, I wouldn't know how you could look past Uriah Hall after you got spinning kick to the face. Let's see. We're gonna call us. Larry's gonna be here. Larry, feel free to call us with us.
Yeah.
We're those at home. We know we're a little behind. We're about 30 seconds behind.
We know there's a buzz. I've been taking the thing in and out to get rid of the buzz. So the buzz is back on now, but
unfortunately the buzz is because of except that we have too many things going on down here. We're not in a real studio. This is my basement. But we're making memories.
we're doing the interviews great. You know, the interviews have been good.
All right. Unfortunately, Larry's got to get going. He's got to pick up his brother. He got the where the hell are you? Tell him you don't talk to a Hollywood actor. Larry, thank you for being with
Larry,
us.
thank you for being with us.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It's been great, and best of luck, guys. And this is great what you guys are doing, and I, look forward to watching the shows, listening to the shows, and it's great what you guys are doing, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. We support you. Thank you for supporting our website, and obviously, even more importantly, supporting the Jimmy Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Larry DaCosta.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Larry.
You leaving, Larry?
Larry's got to go pick up his brother. He's a family man, so
Larry,
we're.
where do you live, Larry?
I live in New Bedford.
Thanks, man.
How far away is that from you?
About 40 minutes.
So we're still in a feeling out process, a minute and a half into this fight. We got Mousasi and Hall. Dave and Larry are, I don't know, making out or something. I don't know. We thank everybody who has contributed so far to our cause, those who called in. But we're right here. We're in the main event. Gegard Mousasi, Uriah Hall, the main event of UFC 9. Nice stiff jab by Mousasi. That's his bread and butter. You saw in his last fight against Vitor Belfort establishing the jab. Gegard's spinning back kick again by Uriah Hall. I know Mousasi probably has nightmares about that. Mousasi standing right in front of him. He's not really moving around, just leg kicking. Yeah, still found not much. Kind of a slower pace after an absolute action-packed fight. I don't think we've had a boring fight yet. Unfortunately, there's been 3 or 4 fights I haven't been able to watch because we've been conducting interviews. I'll get to. That's a wonderful thing about Fight Pass. I can always look it up, watch those fights later. But I'm glad that that I got to catch this fight. And we have much more action. We have the entire UFC 100 fight card coming up. We have interviews. Justin Peck is definitely coming on. He'll be in for roughly about an hour from now. We're hoping to get an interview with the pizza guy who delivers the pizza. Nice little short lift by Gegard. And we're frozen again. Oh, just for a second. I think we're getting bad connections. I think it's because we have the third. We got the third microphone fixed in. After this fight, I'll reset it. I'll reset the Fight Pass. I think we have 2 fights on Fight Pass to start the card before we head over to Fox Sports 1. There's and those watching at home, we were planning on doing 2 TVs and get the Bellator card going. Unfortunately, the feed we decided to scrap that. We don't want any more interference, especially because we had interviews coming in. We definitely have at least Justin Peck coming on. We're hoping to get 2 more interviews before the night's end, maybe even more. Masasi shoots in for a takedown. See if he can get this takedown. All right, after this fight, I think we're going right live directly into UFC Fight Pass. Now, the first fight on UFC Fight Pass Masasi just got a takedown. Pretty low fight. Looks like he's we're like 30 seconds. Don't look at that. We're like 30 seconds behind. Masasi got the takedown. It's a little slow around. Definitely secured himself the round though. Landed some good those uppercuts are landing. Those are some good shots.
He's not defending those.
Oh, another uppercuts. The referees. Mark is looking close. He could be coming in. Oh. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Gegard Mousasi with a dominant performance. At least I got one right on DraftKings.
That was from what I saw. That was very brutal.
Very yeah. Well, it was a very slow pace, but once he got the takedown, it looked like he trapped one of Hall's arms underneath him, and then he was able to rein in some nice uppercuts from underneath. Yeah. A really good performance. I want to see if Mousasi, he's a little soft-spoken guy. It seems like recently he's been...
see if we can get him on? Do you have his number?
Well, I'm hoping to get on right now. What our big surprise was, we were gonna go to satellite feed to the Octagon. He's gonna interview us right into the Octagon. Yeah. No, this is an action-packed night. Right after this ends, we're going straight to
we're
Brazil.
Gonna take a little break first and regroup before we go right to Brazil. Just a couple minutes to refresh our batteries.
Yep.
Get a couple of drinks, maybe. But we're going right back to Brazil. And do you want to hear what they say? Do you want to hear what Mousasi says?
I'm assuming he's going to call out Bisping or something like that. He's going to demand a more marquee fight. This is his last loss. Now he's got this off his record. Yeah. Those are some
bombs.
Yeah, I mean he just dominated Uriah Hall after dominating Vitor Belfort. Mousasi, looking pretty good. After that, UFC 200, he beat Thiago Santos.
Yeah.
So I mean that's at least 3 wins in a row, all by stoppages.
So
I'm thinking it's time for him to get a top 5 fight. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Chris Weidman. I think that fight would make sense.
Yep.
Jacare's kind of on the sidelines. That might be a fight.
This is 3 losses in a row for Hall. Do you think the UFC gives him the cut? You think they cut him? Because usually when you lose 3 fights in a row, UFC says goodbye.
I think he'll just drop down to a low level. Let's see if he calls out anybody in the interview. Let's see.
Hold on, we're just gonna boost up the volume so we can hear, but you guys can't.
Let's see how much of a pro Dan Hardy is. See if he can get an answer out of Mousasi.
I'm surprised Mousasi's not like, I want to talk to Joe Rogan and not you, like Amanda Cooper did. He's thanking Uriah for giving him the rematch. Here we go. He's going to announce.
Let's hear who he's going to call out. They just said 5 guys, but 1 holds the belt.
He said he's coming.
He's coming. He says he wants belt, so he wants Bisping. I think Dan. They get Dan Hardy. He's trying to get someone to call out. Masasi saying he wants a title fight or an elimination fight.
Yeah, I think he deserves that at least.
I mean, it's probably Jacare, but he's already
hurt,
fought
right?
Jacare. He's already fought Jacare. I mean, I think Luke Rockhold would make sense.
Yeah, but Luke Rockhold's fighting coming up here soon too, right?
No, Luke Rockhold got hurt.
Oh, he got hurt against
He was
Jacare,
supposed to
yeah.
fight Jacare.
So maybe Gegard versus Rockhold.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So you think we should take a little breather before we?
Yeah, we're gonna
regroup?
restart. We're gonna close this link. We'll get another one up soon. Pete's will be coming in. We're gonna be calling all the fights. Justin Peck's gonna be coming in soon.
Yep. Excited to have him on. So we just want to say thank you, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, we made it. We've almost made it to the halfway point. We only
Halfway.
have 6.5 more hours to go.
Yep. So stay tuned.